Hi, everyone. So I've been told by my esteemed colleagues that I'm not allowed to give a single local hack day talk without wearing this beanie. It's incredibly warm, so if I start sweating, please bear with me. So you're probably wondering, you've heard all about this local hack day thing. What is local hack day? Local hack day is something that I'm really proud of. Local hack day is a 12-hour miniature hackathon at your school. It's really important to use it as an opportunity to kind of celebrate your community. It's an event that we've created to help lower the barrier of entry to hackathons, not just for first-time hackers, but also first-time organizers. We really want to make it so it's as easy as possible for you to organize your first ever event or for you to come back and just celebrate your community. So who the heck am I? I'm Shy. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of North America. Who here has had a great experience with Tim? Yeah. So the people that didn't put your hands up, Tim, you've got to step it up. No, so what I do is I'm basically one of two people that do Tim's role in North America. I work with Nick Quinlan, who's the Commissioner of Major League Hacking, to help empower and strengthen the community in North America and do the exact same thing that Tim does for you, but for our own local community. I want to tell you a little bit about my experience at the first Hackcon back in January of 2014. This was organized by Swift, John, Alexi, who's walking in the back of the room, and a few other people. And the important thing to note about local Hack Day, or at Hackcon back in January of 2014, is that I'd never organized a single developer-focused event at that point in time. This is the best picture I can find of myself from from Hackcon 1. And what's interesting about this picture is it is actually just a screen grab from a YouTube video of one of the talks. And if you see that blue blur in the left, that's me. That's the best record that I attended Hackcon that I could find and prove to you that I was there. And I think it's really a testament to like the fact that I wasn't really involved in the organizing community at the time. I just discovered hackathons that year, my last year of uni. I'd gone to a hackathon. I got dragged there. We drove far too long to get to Boston. I grew up in Cincinnati. I went to university in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is like in the middle of the United States. Boston is on the far east side of the United States. So it took a while to get there. The car that we were in didn't have brakes. I was asked to drive, and I am a terrible driver. We probably should have died, but we didn't. Sounds like a standard like hackathon road trip story, actually, now that I say it out loud. And I went to that hackathon, and I loved it. It was amazing. And I had this fantastic experience getting to spend time with passionate developers who were spending their time building things, which was something that I didn't get to do. I remember specifically one point in my CS curriculum when I was in a class about computer graphics, and the professor was doing a history of computer graphics, and we got to 1991, and then he ended the presentation, and I asked him, I raised my hand, so what happened between 1992 and 2014? And he's like, I got tenure. I stopped caring. And that, I think, is actually pretty representative of the majority of the computer science programs outside of, like, MIT and Stanford and Carnegie Mellon. Like, most of us want to learn and want to be building things that are modern and relevant, and I think that's why hackathons are so strong and so powerful. And I just discovered this, and I got addicted. So I went to every hackathon that I could, and after a while, I started thinking, hey, these organizers seem to, like, be doing this. This doesn't seem that easy. It looks super easy. They make it seem smooth, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this at my own school. And so I'm at HackRU, which is the hackathon at Rutgers University, and I mentioned this to the organizer. Hey, I kind of want to do this myself. What do I do? And the guy, Sam Agnew, points out this guy with a faux hawk, and he says, you need to talk to that man. That's Swift. He's amazing. He'll make this happen. So I get introduced to Swift. I meet Swift, and he tells me, yeah, you can make this happen. Shoot me an email. So I go back home to Cincinnati, and I start writing this project proposal. I open up Word, and I write this 30-page document of like what I'm going to do, how I'm going to convince people to make the hackathon happen, and I email it to Swift, and he takes 3 months to respond to me. And he probably didn't read the document. I actually asked him earlier, and he told me, yeah, I like opened it and then I closed it. And 3 months later, he sends me this email that's like, hey, Shai, sorry about this, but you want to hop on a phone call? I hop on this phone call in December, and he's like, yeah, we're planning on doing this conference. We're hearing a lot of people want to come learn how to organize hackathons, and they want to come learn how to move the community forward. And that was Hackcon 1 back in January. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can do this. This sounds awesome. I paid $100. It was a $100 ticket. I made it work. That was my Christmas present for the year, was I got to go to Hackcon. I jump on an overnight bus. It was a 12-hour bus ride. I got on January 30th on this bus. It went overnight. It was awful. It was cramped. It was horrible. I do not recommend taking overnight buses to hackathons unless they are organized by hackathons. Just general buses with complete strangers and not hackers are the worst. I arrive in New York on January 31st in the morning. I'd never been to New York before. I was very much out of my comfort zone. It also turned out to be Chinese New Year. And the fun thing about all the buses is that they're run by people in Chinatown, and they all leave and arrive in Chinatown. So I'm dropped off in the heart of Chinatown in the middle of Chinese New Year, and there are people in dragon costumes everywhere. And there's like teams of dancers going around blessing, storefronts and restaurants and who knows what's going on. And eventually I make it to Hackcon. It's in this really dingy co-working space, which ended up being the MLH office for about a year. It's an awful co-working space. It's not great for conferences. It's great for working in. And I met 99 other student hackers, and it was amazing. It changed my life. And let me just remind you again, at this point, I'd never organized a developer-focused event, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all these amazing hackers that have thrown these fantastic events, and I'm listening to these people that are wanting to throw fantastic events and wanting to do things and are asking great, strong questions. And there are a few problems that I keep hearing that keep coming up at Hackcon 1. We talked a lot about saturation. Back in 2013, spring 2013, or fall 2013, spring 2014, MLH wasn't sanctioning every event that reached out to them. They didn't have the capacity to do that. MLH was one person, and it was Swift. John was sort of helping at that point, but he was still working full-time at Twilio, so they just didn't have the bandwidth to go to every event possible. And so at that time, we only had, I think a season would look like 8 events. But there were tons of smaller hackathons that wanted to be part of the league and wanted to have a day. And there was so much conflict around scheduling. It seemed like the end of the world if 2 hackathons would end up on the same date. It seemed like an impossibility and something that just wouldn't be allowed to happen. And that's not really a problem anymore. We've since gotten past that. And we're able to sanction almost every event that reaches out to us now and really support every event that happens. But back then, it was a really big problem, especially for the smaller hackathons. The smaller hackathons had zero leverage when it came to scheduling. We kept hearing that beginners are overwhelmed. And not just beginners in the sense of hackers, because they are still overwhelmed, and it's still really hard to go to your first hackathon, but also beginner, as in organizers. Organizers were overwhelmed. People who wanted to start their first hackathon were scared, and the resources just weren't there yet. You all know that organizing a hackathon is not easy. It's not, and it'll never be easy. I've organized a ton of them at this point, and it's still not easy. It's still a lot of work. I can't just click my hands and lo and behold, there's a hackathon in 4 months that has, all the people in the world that I want attending it. I still have to put in a lot of work and a lot of my time to make it happen. But organizing your first hackathon is really hard, And organizing your first hackathon on a campus that's never had a hackathon before is even harder. I want to talk a little bit about the first ever hackathon that I organized. It was called Revolution UC. It was at the University of Cincinnati, and it was a shit show. It was awful. The administration, we spent the majority of our time convincing our administration that this was something that was worth doing. We spent the majority of our time convincing our peers that had never attended an event before that this was something worth coming to. And we spent as much of our time as we could telling potential sponsors that, hey, even though we've never done an event before, and even though we have zero experience throwing an event before, you should trust us with your money and your time and come to our event and support us. And we had nothing to back any of that up. We had no like ability to prove ourselves. We were just kind of like blowing hot air out. And it became easier as we got a venue and as people started saying, yeah, we're gonna take a risk in you first time event. We're gonna believe in you. And this was before MLH would sanction every event possible. Now that MLH sanctions every event, you all have resources. Major League Hacking is in your corner. And Tim, if you have any questions, we'll answer those questions and we'll jump on a phone in a timely fashion to do so. Same with us in North America. We're very timely about our emails. And we'll have your back. But back then, that wasn't a thing. And there's definitely something we've made strides towards. And then the last problem that I heard about was the format of hackathons is stale. And I hear this a lot from people that have been in the hackathon community for a while. And now that I've been in the hackathon community for a while, I tend to agree with them. The last real innovation in hackathons was the expo, was the science fair. And that was the evolution of us changing how the judging paradigm worked. Besides that, I don't think there have been really very major like shifts in like the makeup of what a hackathon looks like or the organizing structure of what a hackathon looks like. I mean, it's still the same, overnight event. And people were starting to get bored with that. At least organizers were starting to get bored with that and wanting to step away. So, like I said, I'd never organized a single developer-focused event. I'm the blue blur. And the fact that I never organized a single developer-focused event uniquely qualified me to solve all the problems in the world. So I decided, all right, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to think about this, and I'm going to throw this event that we called Local Hack Day. So what does a local hack day look like? A local hack day could be anything from, 10, 15 people hanging out in a club room or a society room, hacking and eating pizza, to 100 people in a big lecture hall. A local hack day doesn't have a defined format. You could host a local hack day in a Starbucks, and we would make sure that you would get lunch. MLH, Major League Hacking, covers the lunch expenses for local hack day. We send you swag, and we connect you to this virtual community of all the hackers in the entire event. So you can work together and you can build not just your local community, but your global community. We really think Local Hack Day 1, or at least my goal with Local Hack Day 1, was to celebrate the community at every school, everywhere. And Local Hack Day 1 was also this great opportunity to help people make their first steps. If you're an established community, celebrating your community is incredibly important and incredibly valuable, and Local Hack Day is an excellent avenue for that. But if you've never organized an event before, Local Hack Day is just as good a place to get started. At least in the United States, we have room reservation systems where we can just check out a room for 12 hours. And there are tools to just let you do that. You could, like I said, you can organize a local hack day in a Starbucks. Definitely get permission if your university requires you to get permission to throw an event. But because it's not overnight, the barrier and the amount of convincing that you do should be lower. Because your event ends, it should be lower. The safeguarding principles around having underage people should be less because they don't have to stay overnight, and you don't have to consider, getting them a room, a separate room, or all of those restrictions. It becomes a much easier proposition to throw, a short overnight event, and participants aren't as scared. Because it's happening on your campus and because it's for your local community, hackers don't have to travel that far to be part of it. So Local Hack Day 1, some stats. Local Hack Day 1, we got 33 schools across the United States and Canada, which was fantastic. We had over 1,000 participants take part in Local Hack Day 1. It took 12 hours in local time. We started at 9 a.m. So Major League Hacking started at 9 a.m. in New York. New York finished at 9 p.m. that night, and California had kicked on a couple hours later, so we kept going, and the MLH team ended up running for about 15 hours. We hosted this live stream, but all of these events took about 12 hours in their own local time, and we sent a lot of hats. These hats, which I still get multiple emails asking for these hats. Unfortunately, I'm out of hats. I have no more hats to give. And we provided lunch. We bought everyone lunch. It was as close to a free meal as you get. You just organize the event and we'll give you a free lunch. Yeah, so I want to tell you a little bit about some of the hackers that took part in Local Hack Day. I want to tell you about Sam. Sam's the organizer of Vandy Hacks. Vandy Hacks is a hackathon that takes place in Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States. Nashville is right around the middle-ish of the United States. I feel like Alexi's giving me a stare like your geography is terrible. Yeah, I don't know. It's about the middle. And Sam was in the same boat that I was. Sam had also never organized a developer-focused event before, but he'd found hackathons and he loved them, and he wanted to bring them to his community. And he also wanted to learn, how do I throw a hackathon? Something Sam told me was that Local Hack Day gave him the opportunity to learn the skills that he needed to host a hackathon in a low-risk, guided way. Major League Hacking helped him through marketing, logistics, food, and more, and that the fundamental skills that he gained from organizing a Local Hack Day were crucial to the success of Vandy Hacks. And he's coming back. He's organizing another Local Hack Day this year, and I'm really excited to have him be part of our community again. I want to tell you about Taylor Barnett. Taylor is a successful an experienced organizer from Austin, Texas, which is in the south of the United States. She is one of the most passionate organizers that I know. She deeply cares about the community of hackers in her state, in Texas. And so for her, Local Hack Day was an opportunity to bring the hackers at her school together and to celebrate and to really do the one thing that they loved most together, which was hacking. She told me that it was a cool feeling knowing that she was hacking at the same time as hundreds of people around the country watching the same live streams, taking part in the same virtual meetups, while it also simultaneously strengthened and introduced hackathon culture to people in her community, in her local student community. And I want to tell you about Kenneth. Kenneth at the time was not the head organizer of Hack BCA. Jared, my friend Jared was the organizer of Hack BCA. Hack BCA is a high school hackathon. It's the largest and I think the first high school hackathon in North America organized by high schoolers. And Jared had this problem. Jared had started Hack BCA, but he needed to find a successor. He'd spent so much time starting his hackathon, he hadn't thought about building a legacy or creating a platform for him to transfer his knowledge to his successor. But he'd found a successor. He'd found Kenneth, who'd been a really passionate volunteer and wanted to step up to the plate and wanted to take it over. And unfortunately, all of our organizations have mandatory turnover. You are eventually going to graduate or drop out, hopefully graduate, and you're going to have to leave. And someone else is going to have to step up to the plate and take over your events. And Jared really wanted to make sure that Kenneth had the skills that he needed to be successful, and that Kenneth had an opportunity to build something and have the values that Jared had for starting his event passed down to him. And so what Jared did was he told Kenneth, hey, you're in charge of Local Hack Day. This is your thing. Run with it. And he gave Kenneth an opportunity to start organizing something, for him to organize his first event. And Kenneth told me later that not only did he learn a lot about organizing, but it made him realize how wonderful the hacking community was. Everyone was helping him and trying their best to make sure that he could be successful and that he had the skills that he needed to learn how to throw his first hackathon. Without a doubt, the knowledge that he gained from throwing a local hack day was invaluable for creating a better hackathon. That's something he told me. So local hack day was great. I thought local hack day 1 was an amazing experience, but local hack day could be better. So I went back and I rethought about it, and we came up with the framework for local hack day 2. The big thing that we're changing is that we're trying to bring the global community. And Major League Hacking is not just North America, but Major League Hacking is also Europe. And there are people who want to join us from outside of our current leagues and also outside of our current student structure. There are high schoolers and code schools that want to take part in our events and want to be part of the Major League Hacking movement. So we changed it a little bit. But I want to tell you what's in it for you. Why should you organize a local hack day? And the first thing, like I said, is that local hack day transcends the leagues. You can be any type of student, anywhere in the globe, and we'll damn well do our hardest to send you swag, and we will absolutely make sure that you have a lunch and a meal. We're going to help you establish a legacy. This is an opportunity for you to find those people that want to step up and give them something that is low risk to run with, and to make them feel confident that they can throw an event, and make you feel confident that you can hand your event to that person. We want to empower your community. I want you to remember that we all know that when you organize a hackathon and when hackers get there, they're going to have a great time. But your job as an organizer is to lower the barrier of entry for first-time hackers to show up and to make everyone feel included and safe. With first-time hackers, we have a few specific initiatives that we're using to support them. Last year, we ran MLH EDU. If you're a hacker and you don't know where to start, we want there to be content available for you. If you've heard about this new fancy Node.js thing, and you wanna know what does that actually mean besides the meme, if you wanna learn how do I get started building my basic website, what is an API, what does that even mean? Local Hack Day is the place where you can learn that information. We use Local Hack Day and its live stream as a place to build very beginner-focused technical content, and then we provide that technical content to people after the fact. So you can use it at any hackathon that you're at and have a place to get started. And Local Hack Day is an amazing opportunity for us to create and build this content. It's still 12 hours local time, but instead of starting the live stream in New York, we're starting it in Cyprus. So when the universities and I think one high school in Cyprus start their event, Tim and the MLH EU community will be there to support them, and we'll be there to phone in, help connect them, provide entertainment. And if any universities in Europe east of Cyprus sign up, Tim's going to have to get up an hour or two earlier. So you get to set Tim's alarm clock for the day. You'll make sure you'll wake him up? I like that. Tim sleeps too long. So you're going to bring the venue to Local Hack Day to be a part of it. And once you do, we'll add you to our map. Right now, we have 67 schools that are joining us for Local Hack Day. I'm so excited that we get to have a university in Hong Kong take part of the event, and we have a school in Brazil that's joining us. Right now, we have 2,250 participants that we're expecting to join us for Local Hack Day. And specifically in Europe, there are 11 events taking part. I know I've met a few of you. Actually, if you're organizing a Local Hack Day, let's raise your hands. Wow, it's a lot of you. I feel like I didn't need to actually give this talk now. It's kind of a redundant talk when everyone in the room says they're organizing your event. Let's have a round of applause for everyone that's actually already taking a part. But yeah, we are currently at 11 schools across Europe, and I'd love to see that number go higher. So if you want to join us, we have a website. It's localhackday.mlh.io. If you join us, we'll buy lunch, we'll cover lunch, and we'll send you swag. You scroll to the bottom of the Local Hack Day page, and you hit Organizer Sign Up, and there's a sign up form where you give us, some basic information. Next, you'll need to go find a venue. Like I said, classrooms are great for this. You don't need Bloomberg HQ. As gorgeous as this space is, it is total overkill for Local Hack Day. Although if you can get this space for Local Hack Day, I'm gonna fly here and join you and take part from here because it's so nice. Once you have your venue secured, you log into our organizer tool. You'll automatically get an invite to this organizer tool once you sign up. And a few of you might already be using this as part of European sanctioning. Bill Wall has been working really hard to make sure this tool works super smoothly for Local Hack Day organizers. You'll log in with your credentials that you get when you sign up, and you'll fill out your profile. The important things to note are we need your venue address. We're going to actually be helping with marketing. We're building flyers and posters for everyone that takes part. And so whatever your venue address is what we'll show on the map and on the posters. Make sure that the map shows up because that's where it'll show up on the big map. And give us your shipping address. That's where we're going to mail things to. And you can select what type of event or what type of students can attend. If you aren't able to take high school students or under 18s at your event, you can restrict them so it's university students only. Again, you still need to check their IDs at the door, but you can prevent them from even signing up. And then, and once you upload then you'll need to upload a confirmation of your venue, a screenshot of a room reservation, or a printout and scanned copy of an email will work sufficely for us, just some sort of proof that you do, in fact, have a venue. And so the original deadline for Local Hack Day to sign up was August 24th, which was unfortunately 4 days ago. So also this presentation is a little moot, except I thought ahead, I planned, and when I ordered the swag, I also made a point to order extra swag. So the August 24th deadline is not the real deadline for Europe. In fact, the actual deadline to join us for Local Hack Day is September 16th. We've ordered extra swag, and we'll make sure to cover your lunch if you sign up and complete the reservation process. I do have to note that since we have bought the swag not on the numbers that you're giving us, but on an estimate, that swag is currently on a first-come, first-served basis. But you have until September 16th to sign up and join us for Local Hack Day. September 16th is when we're going to start mailing things out to make sure that it gets to you in time for the event. I'm really excited to have you all join us. If there are any questions, I can take them. Otherwise, you can shoot me an email or you can tweet at me, and that's the website. So thanks for your time.
We have time for a couple of questions. Oh, Nick's in.
Hi, Shai. You said that the event's going to be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., so 12 hours. And you said that you're providing lunch. Does this mean that we have to find sponsors to provide breakfast or dinner if we want to?
So, is the podium mic on? Yeah. So, not necessarily. I think since it's a very low impact event, people can eat breakfast before they show up, and since it's a local event, you're also not stranding them in the middle of nowhere. So I also think it's reasonable for people to go home and eat dinner afterwards. If you want to raise your own sponsorship, you are more than welcome to. And there are a few events that are doing that, but I don't think it's necessary unless you really want to. So
that's all. Thanks, Shay.
Anyone else? Cool.
Thanks. Great talk, by the way. Are you planning to have this basically every season, or is it going to be like a once-a-year event?
So right now it's probably going to be a once-a-year event. This year it's what's kicking off the season. It's going to be the first event in the European season, and it's one of the first events in North America. We ended up changing the date based on feedback. So I definitely do listen to the feedback of all the organizers that are part of Local Hack Day. Last year we did it in December as the thing to close out the season, and almost everyone told us that they wanted it to be the thing that opened the season. So it really depends on how you as the organizers feel with what the evolution of Local Hack Day is. Sarah?
This is a really obscure and sort of specific question, but if you sort of get attendees signing up possibly from America who are in their first year and probably not going to be in Europe, what would you suggest would be a good course of action to deal with that?
So you have access to all your email, all of the participant emails of everyone that signs up to your event, and you have the ability to email them whenever you want. I would probably just anticipate that they're not coming. I think everyone here knows about hackathon attrition. I think the rule, so in the US, the rule of thumb is that 1/3 to 1/2 of the people that sign up for your events won't show up. I hear it's lower in Europe, but in North America, it's definitely a really high number. So just we're accounting for kind of standard hackathon attrition in this. So
It's only lower in Scotland. Big up 15%.
15% attrition. I have to
right?
talk to whoever organized that and steal
Oh,
your
it's
secrets.
Nick and they've got extra people on the coach. We still don't know how.
Yeah.
There's not enough seats. Anyway, thank you very much, Shai.